Hi everyone. Okay. Um, Thank you for joining me again today. And I'll just go straight to the point. I'm going to be sharing how to declutter to cope with your stress. So if you're joining me, just let me know where you're joining from. At the same time, let me know which our time because today is Saturday. Let me not get us. Let me not take our time ahead of what's to come in 2 weeks. So, in case you don't know, in 2 weeks' time, we are going to host the largest stress management summit Africa, where we are bringing together 13 experts from across the globe to help you cope with your stress, whether it's that of parenting, work related, your finances, relationship, marriage, the foods to eat, and what not to eat when you're stressed. Just name it. So it's going to be a power packed 2 day event that you shouldn't miss. If you've not registered, just register right now. Don't say later so that you don't forget. So registration details are on the screen. So today I'm just going to teach you guys how to declutter to cope with stress. You may wonder, why am I doing this particular topic? So if you've noticed, maybe you are one of those that when they are stressed, they when they are stressed, yeah, they realize that they don't really have strength to declutter their space. Or, on the other hand, when their space has lots of clutter, has lots of stuff lying around, no space, it's kind of gives them this itchy feeling like, oh my God, what's going on? And it kind of handicaps you that you don't even know the next thing you're going to do. Let me give an instance. In your room at the moment, those clothes you washed like 3 days ago, you've not put them away. They are just lying around everywhere. And in addition to that, maybe you have kids, they bring in their toys into the same room, or you have books lying around everywhere. You know that whenever you walk into that room, there's something wrong. There's something that doesn't feel right. And it gets you wonder, why am I feeling this way? If you check very well, it is because of that clutter in your space. Or you go to your kitchen, plates are just everywhere, and then it starts itching you. No, 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 you have to get this done. You have to clean up the space. And maybe your perfectionist self will get into action that you want to clean. You start cleaning, clearing, clearing, clearing. And when you've done all of that, you're so exhausted. And you're like, okay, at least I have a clean space, even though I'm exhausted. But before you know it, in 2 or 3 days' time, your house is back to the status quo. Maybe your office uh, is back to the same clutter, or your space, your home, wherever it is scattered again like you didn't do anything. And you start feeling that same stress again, such high levels of stress that, oh God, you just as in you're just exhausted because you're going to think about, oh, how am I going to start cleaning up this place now so that things can work, you know. So if you find yourself in that circle of, you've cleaned, everywhere is a mess again, you're stressed, you clean again, you're stressed, everywhere is a mess again, you're stressed. If you find yourself in this kind of circle, then you need to listen to what I'm about to say right now on why you should declutter your space to help you relieve stress. Because if you check it, most times it's not because you don't know how to clean, or sometimes it's not because you're not a clean freak, but sometimes it's because the things you are clearing, the things you're organizing, don't actually have where they belong. That's one. And then the second thing is that the things you're clearing up shouldn't even be there in the first place. you know, you have, let me say, in your office space, you have pen that you've been using for a long time. Sorry, you have pen or several pens that has finished. You're supposed to throw away these ones that are no longer working, but you still packed them into that same space. This is your sign to start decluttering. This is your sign to start decluttering. Now, how do you go about it? Now, the first step The first step, if you're going to declutter your space, is to group everything into categories. Okay, so if it's your office, there are pens lying around, there are stationaries lying around that don't have where they belong, or pins lying around that don't have where they belong. Now, this is your time to categorize everything into different groups. Okay, so get all the pens together, get all the books or papers together. Now, when you've got them together, start removing the things that don't belong there. Okay, an office space, it may be very easy to do that, but if it's a home space that we are talking about here, imagine the clothes you've not worn for like 6 months. Why are they still there? And you know that this is not because it's winter or it's summer, it's not a seasonal outfit. It's just been there waiting for a particular special occasion. Why do you still have them there and you're still buying more clothes? Okay. And another excuse people usually give is, oh, let me get these clothes, let me pack them up now so that later I'll sell them or I'll do this. Let me tell you, you've not even had time to sort yourself, and you're talking about time to start taking pictures of the clothes to list them so that people will come and buy, of which you're not even sure of when people are going to buy it. Why don't you package those clothes and donate to charity? Remember, we are talking about decluttering here. We're not talking about somebody that is already organized, that is now donating clothes to charity. No. Okay? So instead of waiting till when you get stressed to gather all these things to start selling, start donating them to charity so that you can actually at least have space to improve, to work on your mental health. All right? So we've talked about the office space. I'm actually talking about the rooms now. You've sorted the clothes. Another thing, for instance, in your kitchen, there are plates that you haven't used, or there are plates that shouldn't be in that home. This is your sign to take them away, declutter them, declutter those utensils that are just taking up spaces, declutter those containers, those bottles of spices that have been there for a long time. You know that you're not going to use them, or you keep telling yourself, I may use them someday. You're not going to use them. They're just taking up space. Do you understand? So when you've grouped everything into categories, we just talked about the next step, which is taking out the things that has been there for a long time that you don't really need. Take them out. Now, it brings me to a very important section when it comes to decluttering and organizing for stress relief, which is get a box for everything. It's very simple but highly effective. Let me say you have kids in the house and they have their toys everywhere. Every time you arrange the toys, they bring out the toys, they scatter it everywhere. Every time you arrange the toys. The reason why the toys are everywhere is because they don't actually have where they belong. So get them a space or get them a box and put them where they belong. If you have clothes lying around, you know what we do sometimes, we remove a clothes and we're not sure, is this one clean enough to go into back into the box, or is it dirty enough to go into the laundry? So you're not sure where this one belongs and you kind of just throw them on that particular chair that is suffering in that your room. This is your sign to get a box for such items. Okay, so you can get a box to dump clothes that you're not sure of. One thing I do for myself is, if I am not sure of this clothes, let me say you've checked the armpit or you're not sure, is this clothes too dirty or not? It goes straight to the laundry basket, because next thing you know is that you just dump it by the corner somewhere because you're not sure where it belongs, and before you know it, your space is cluttered again. Okay, so if you have anything that doesn't have where it belongs, get a box. Get a box. It's as simple as that. If you have biros, pens everywhere, get a stationary case or a biro case, whatever it's called. If you have if um spoons, spoons that don't have where they belong, every time you're looking for your spoons, get a container or an organizer where you can organize the spoons, the cutlery, the forks, and the knives. Get something to organize them. Do you understand? So one lesson is get a box for that item. Get a box for every item that don't have where they belong. That is one important rule when it comes to decluttering. And then one other one is one thing in, one thing out. One in, one out rule. What does this mean? It means for every new thing you're bringing into the house, make sure you're taking away one thing. Yes. So if you're somebody that loves to buy things, let me say you've seen oh, this air fryer is very very lovely and I would love to have it to help me cook foods that are healthier or more efficient. Before you bring in that air fryer into the house, think, do I actually have space for it? And secondly, what am I going to take away so that this air fryer can come in? Because if you keep buying everything thinking that yes, you actually need them, before you know it, your home is going to be full of things that you're not going to use and your space is going to be cluttered. Do you get? And then the stress comes again. So before you bring in something, if this also applies to clothes, before you bring in that new clothes into the house, think about the ones you're going to take away and donate to charity. This will help you to keep your space well organized and also help your own mental health. Okay? So one thing in, one thing out. One thing in, one thing out. Always remember this to keep your space so organized. So that is it. And you can also apply the same thing when it comes to your mental health, like decluttering your mind. So decluttering your mind is basically like dumping whatever it is that is full in that head. Whether I like it or not, you're one person. You're catering to different things. Let me say you're a parent, you're somebody's spouse, you're in a relationship, you're someone's employee, or you're an employer, you're someone's sister, you're someone's brother, you're someone's cousin. You're just one person that has different roles, different responsibility to people, and you're someone's friend as well. So these are that everybody is seeking um a role or your attention. And before you know it, you're thinking, how do I deliver this to this person? How do I There is work deadlines to meet. There is someone writing you that you've not spoken to them in a long while. There is your mom calling you. There are your kids dragging your attention. And you be like, hey, who sent me work in this adulting? God, I beg you. So in situations like this, what do you do? Just prioritize. Try to prioritize your life. Get a pen and paper. Write down all these various roles, these various responsibilities. And there is one that people don't usually include, which is their role in the church. You're a choir member, you're a chorister, or you're an usher in your church, or you're a worker that they require you to execute certain roles. Include it in that your list of all the things you're doing. Okay? And now begin to prioritize. Now, if people are dragging you left, right, and center, before you respond to it, you're going to say, where does this come in my priority list? So, with that clarity of thoughts, you know the ones to respond to, and you know the ones to say, no, I cannot handle this today. That means you're going to learn how to say no respectfully, no, in a way that it will not make you feel bad, which is something that people usually struggle with. And this has even given me an idea for the next series, for what we're going to talk about in the next series, which is how to say no without feeling bad, how to maintain boundaries to improve your mental well being, to relieve stress. Okay, so apply what we've talked about to help you stay organized in your workplace, in your home, and also in your mind so that you will have fewer things to worry about in this adulting life of so much stress. You get. So my dears, I have to I think we've 15 minutes. I thought this was going to be like a 10-minute session, but that's all right. 15 minutes gone. So join me on Monday. Okay, I'm bringing a guest on board on Monday to talk about dangers of stress and practical tips. Like her three top practical tips on managing stress. She is really, really good. She's an expert in stress management. She's a medical doctor. She's going to be sharing her own tips for you to learn from. And after that, on Tuesday, I'm going to be teaching you how to say no. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you. How to say no without feeling bad, how to maintain that boundary so that you can protect your own mental well being and also relieve your own stress. Okay, this will be on Tuesday. On Monday, the expert is coming. Tuesday, I'll continue with you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Elizabeth Didier. Thank you, and see you again. If you've not registered for the summit, remember to register. It's going to be awesome. The biggest, largest stress management summit in Africa. You cannot afford to miss it. See you guys. See you guys. Bye. Okay. Oh, okay. End stream.